Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a fascinating look at the absolute bare bones of animation storytelling. Whether you're a creator, a parent, or honestly just a fan of good pacing, there is so much to learn from the blueprint of a joyful children's animation. We're looking specifically at a piece titled Chirya, Boli, Choo. It's actually kind of amazing how just a handful of lines can perfectly map out the visuals, the audio, and the whole emotional vibe of an entire scene. Okay, let's dive into this. Chirya Boli Choo Allahu Allahu. This rhythmic heartbeat, it's basically the anchor for everything that follows in our source material. It's exactly the kind of catchy, melodic hook that perfectly grounds a scene. And yeah, it'll probably be stuck in your head for the rest of the day. But really, it sets this beautifully simple foundation for the animation structure we're going to deconstruct today. So in this explainer, we're basically going to act as a magnifying glass. We're deconstructing a highly precise three-step format laid out right in the source text. Now, this format is explicitly designed to create a cheerful Islamic kids animation. It is literally a masterclass in how to build a scene incrementally. It uses repetition and gentle escalation to guide a young viewer's attention without totally overwhelming them. Here's the exact escalation arc we'll be following today. Step 1, the solo bird. Step 2, building a chorus. And finally, Step 3, the joyful climax. We're going to trace exactly how the script seamlessly builds this awesome collective experience. Let's begin right at the beginning with Step 1, the solo bird. This is where the visual and auditory baseline gets firmly established. The script starts small to really capture focus, and it deliberately blends what we see with what we hear. Notice the explicit instructions breaking down visual cues, like a colorful bird and bright colors, which are instantly balanced by audio cues of soft music and happy singing. This pairing of vibrant, stimulating visuals with gentle, calming audio is a super deliberate choice. It sets a tone that is cheerful but still really soothing for kids. But beyond just setting the colors and the music, the source gives some very specific physical directions. The script demands that this cute cartoon bird on the tree branch is, quote, gently moving its wings and singing happily. You see, this isn't just a static image holding a pose. That gentle movement introduces our core song in a way that feels incredibly alive and welcoming. It perfectly matches the gentle rhythm of the chant we heard earlier. Let's move to and see how this builds in Step 2, building a chorus. The scene expands significantly here. We're shifting from a very focused experience to something entirely communal. First, more cute birds join the original one. Second, they aren't just sitting still anymore. They're actually flying around the garden. And third, they're singing together happily. The animation script uses movement and addition to naturally scale up the energy of the scene, forming this vibrant visual and auditory chorus. Now, with that growing chorus comes a slight but really important variation in the lyrics. As the collective flock of birds sings together happily, the script shifts the words just a bit to choo choo choo, Allahu Allahu. Notice how it drops the opening word Chirya from the first step. It leans heavily into the rhythmic, repetitive sounds that a flock might actually make. This reinforces that group dynamic and makes it way easier to sing along with. I really want you to observe a crucial detail introduced in this middle step. The source specifically notes, smiling children listen happily. Our human element, the children, are finally introduced into the scene, but they don't join in the singing right away. They merely listen. This is such a brilliant pacing mechanism by the writer. By having the children passively observe and smile, the script actively cultivates what it calls a peaceful and joyful atmosphere. Basically, it gives the audience a moment to just soak in the chorus before the final escalation. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how everything seamlessly comes together in Step 3, the joyful climax. The blueprint has set the stage, brought in the chorus, and introduced the children. But look at how the environment shifts to match this climax. We start with our grounded tree branch, a cozy, contained space. But then, for Step 3, the script directs the action upwards, with the birds now flying in the expansive, beautiful sky. This upward movement represents a major physical climax. The visual scale stretches completely to match the emotional peak of the animation. Accompanying that physical climax up in the sky is the emotional climax down below. The text instructs that the children smile and gently raise their hands, singing. This is exactly where the kids transition from being passive listeners in Step 2 to active participants in Step 3. They raise their hands gently, which is this beautiful physical gesture of connection and joy, and they join in singing the full chant, Chirya Boli Choo Allahu, Allahu. The barrier between the observers and the song is just completely removed. Honestly, it's a great reminder that moving your audience from passive observation to active participation is the ultimate way to create joy. Finally, the script provides a strict, specific instruction for the very end of the animation. It dictates ending on a beautiful, peaceful scene while visually cementing the core message and the primary chant on screen. This leaves the young viewer with a clear, calming, final thought to take away from the experience, all without needing to add any complex new information at the last minute. Let's take a step back for a second and look at what this actually achieves: crafting a peaceful atmosphere. These three escalating steps, the solo bird, the growing chorus, the joining children, they weave together perfectly. They construct a very specific, joyous, and serene mood. And you know what the real beauty of this blueprint is? It does all of this without relying on complex dialogue or elaborate, confusing plots. It relies purely on the accumulation of gentle actions and repetitive, soothing sounds. And this brilliantly illustrates the emotional journey mapped out by the source text. We start off with step 1's emotion explicitly described as cheerful with those bright colors and happy singing. But by the time we reach step 3, the script explicitly asks for a beautiful, peaceful scene. The animation essentially guides the child from a state of cheerful, bouncy engagement directly into a state of peaceful calm. It's just an incredibly effective emotional arc packed into a mere few sentences of direction. Which leaves us with this final question to ponder. How much emotion can a simple song and a colorful bird really convey? Well, as we've seen, when it's structured deliberately, building from one voice to many, moving from passive to active, the answer is profound. It proves you absolutely do not need overwhelming complexity to create a massive impact. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, remember to look for these hidden, powerful structures the next time you're crafting a story of your own.